Let's rewind the clock. It's 2016. Winter break is upon us, and I am off for 3 weeks off my dream college. I've been issued the Wi-Fi at my college, even though it is my dream college, kinda sucks when it goes to playing games that have shitty servers at that point, and it's all about making the job. Don't want Watch Dogs, and this was the one I got while drunk. Now the name is a little bit of a misdirect. I wasn't actually drunk when I got the platinum trophy, but there were plenty of trophies I did get while heavily intoxicated, and even a couple of trophies where my in-game character of Aiden needed to be drunk to get. Watch Dogs is a bit of a controversial game when it first came out, from the E3 trailer looking god amazing, damn near orgasmic, to the game itself and being not so much. In the end, the game ended up being a run-of-the-mill open world adventure with hacking elements, and not the fabled GTA killer that it was promising. Now, even though a lot of people had issues with Aiden Pierce as a character, saying he was too moody, too this, too that, I personally liked him, especially with everyone else around him kind of filling in this void of like silly, wacky characters. It definitely worked. And back then, when I was pretty much drinking my problems away from various relationships that went south, and school, Aiden's groundedness was kind of what I needed back then, especially since I was more intoxicated than I should have been 9 times out of 10 when I was playing the game. When the game actually got into play, one of the biggest troubles playing through towards the end, when I really started the trophy hunt, this game specifically, was the servers. I played on this game back in 2016, and the servers back then were a god-awful nightmare. That's before rumors of a sequel was coming out, let alone a third game, which has recently been leaked and been talked about within the rumor mill for about 1.5 years now. Almost 3 years have gone by since I've even touched this game, and let me tell you, the servers now are only going to get worse and worse. I'm actually surprised that they're still up, if they even are as I record this. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna check, because I'm kind of scared to. A lot of these, there are a number of multiplayer trophies which require full servers and just other fully decked out adventures. Most of them requiring you the best and otherwise online enemy, a component, or simply exploring and playing the various modes. I did do those over winter break, and that was pretty much it. It wasn't anything too bad, but that's not where our story comes in. Back then, when I got back from college, when I got back from winter break, and I was at that point kicked out of my house and kind of just hanging out, playing games to get my mind off of that and the failed relationship, and trying to pass classes so I actually become a teacher and do that whole thing. I was drinking and gaming to kind of just feel it out. Now, does that mean that I do want to say that 3 years in the future I have toned down my drinking, which is yay. Wouldn't say it was a problem, but it wasn't not a problem either. You know what I mean? And Watch Dogs kind of brings all that back, for better or for worse. So, what I would do after I got back from that winter break and realizing I was homeless and working and shit, was that I would go for one trophy every single day. It was my way of keeping grounded and my game of roots when pretty much everything else was falling apart at the seams. And Watch Dogs was one of the games I'd used to go do that. Another game that I used was Walking Dead Season 2, which oddly doesn't have a platinum trophy to it. But these are the type of games that I did to continue and follow on my passion of gaming. So, there were a number of times where I just got drunk as shit and I just started playing the game. A lot of the trophies go from the multiplayer side of just explore out the modes, best out an opponent every now and then, to switching over to pretty much 100% in the game. The game requires a lot of you, and when the world isn't all that exciting, it can drag on for a while, especially when unlocking all of the song sneaks is procedurally generated, and need to basically just get lucky with RNGesus to get it. My roommate at the time, Tig, which I swear is his real name to this day, decided, you know what, fuck it, you've been doing this for like 3 days trying to get this one trophy, let me drive around, let me hit up some spots, let me try to get it for you. And he actually ended up popping that trophy. Fortunately, it was 2 trophies away from my last trophy, otherwise I would have completely lost my shit. Which was nice. But this is the kind of thing that the game is just scary as shit. You know what I mean? Definitely a far cry from the amount of fun and whimsicalness that comes from Watch Dogs 2, which I've already talked about on the channel, and it was platinum number 30. This one was way before that. I'm not even sure what platinum number it was, but it was pretty early in my trophy hunting career, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. I do remember that I did complete this one mission for a trophy. It was one of the last ones I had to do, and I was getting pretty pissed. I was running out of time to do it, and I was just really frustrated at that time. So every time I would die, I would end up taking a shot of Patron. I do remember this very well because Dag gave me shit about it for the next 3 days because of how hungover I was the day after. So when I was taking shots of Patron every time I died, he'd be like, you know, you're not really helping yourself out at all. Instead, what you'll probably end up doing what ended up being this game was like, I'm just playing, having a time. I got so frustrated that I wasn't playing well that I was just taking shots of Patron, and he was making fun of me, saying, you know, that's not helping your gaming ability at all. I'm like, and it got to the point where one of the last things I do remember of that specific night that I wasn't retold the day before was saying, you don't know shit is open, and then a trophy getting popped. So, you know, some things did work out in the end. So, a lot of the trophies don't really need a guide. What you're going to end up doing is just exploring and running through everything the game has to offer and exploring every avenue. They're all your stereotypical trophies you get for just playing the game and going through that. You are going to get one for every single trophy. For every single thing in the game, your 100% bonus trophies are in there as well. But you also get one. You also get trophies for just doing the basic one. Doing everything for the first time will also end you a trophy. Which, when I was using it as my trophy of the day requirements, but I also had a whole log that I would do. I actually had a whole Word document of, ended up being over 100 pages, where I would log every single trophy I would do. This game actually really came in handy for those trophies, for that log. And it was something that honestly I kind of appreciated. It's one of the things that I decided would get me going and continuing to go through and play the game for the platinum trophy in the end. Now, while a lot of people didn't have a lot of real hope for this game, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even though I was drunk for a lot of the time, I did enjoy it and did end up having a lot of good memories of this game. It provided escapism when I needed it. So when the sequel came out, I was damn sure to go ahead and pre-order that, which is why that trophy was also number 30. But it was one of the things that you just, for me, this game kind of symbolizes what I really do love about gaming. It is an escape for those who need it, and it's much more for those who are in the world and playing each one of the games. And it also helps me out of a really dark place at the time. While it wasn't exactly the most helpful in the game, or even the best game to do it, it was a game that I used to get through my shits. And it is something that, because of that, I will always be thankful of this game. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to kind of talk about, which is one, that this game is actually pretty good. It's a game that I think, because a lot of people got honestly burnt off of the E3 trailer, I understand why people didn't really want to give it as much love as it should have gotten. Which, you know, totally get. But some of the trophies are actually pretty unique. Like, one of my favorite ones, even though it was a huge pain in the ass, was the Social Lubricant Trophy. Throughout the world of Chicago, there end up being 3 different... I'm here. Thank you. End up being 3 different alcoholics that will challenge you to drinking games. And what you have to do is you have to beat level 10 with each one of them getting slightly harder as you go through. And with slippery controls adding to the difficulty, definitely creates a lot of troubles when you're going through. But persevere through it, and you will eventually get through. It is one of the things that you kind of just have to muscle through, and eventually you get the hang of it. But it's not an easy go at it. And it's something that was definitely frustrating when I was at it, but not the absolute worst. So it's one of the trophies that it makes you feel like, oh, okay, I've actually earned this. Which I do appreciate when that happens. Because a lot of times in Ubisoft games especially, it doesn't happen often. So keep that in mind. All in all, this game is exactly what I was hoping it was. It's fun. It's not the best, but it is fun, and it is worth your time. Unfortunately, now with almost a seemingly endless barrage of games coming out, and a second sequel in the works that maybe by the time this comes out will be confirmed where the location is, but with current rumors having it in London, it's gonna be kind of interesting to see where everything kind of goes. It is a game that I'm going to keep my eyes on, even though Ubisoft, in my personal opinion, has been wasting some of their better games. And it is one of the things that I do want to talk about, the star system. Directly ripped out of GTA's playbook. For how much hacking you do and the amount of havoc you can create, you're going to get these stars that you actually see on the bottom. I currently have one. And being honest, it is a bit of a nightmare trying to get out. My last trophy ended up being escaping a level 5 white haze, with my second last trophy being escape 15 of them, mostly because I didn't really get into a lot of trouble while in the game, because so much of it is technically stealth based, and you end up not really getting caught by a lot, being that so much of it is almost out of your hands thanks to the hacking ability. Thanks to the hacking ability that you have, it never ends up being something that you actually have to worry about, which I appreciate. But it is something that, if you remember, won't be nearly as hard to do, as long as you remember that it's something you have to do. All in all, I enjoyed the game. I wish more people did, but enough people did to get us multiple sequels and levels up and leveling up. While I did play the game through with almost a completionist mindset to begin with, I ended up getting all of my skills and everything leveled up by the time I was not even done with Act 4 out of the 5 possible ones you have to do. So if you're playing it right, you can be super overpowered by the time you're done, having a bunch of battery life to kind of fuck some guys up, and just sitting back and enjoying. One of the biggest criticisms keeping that in. One of the biggest criticisms of the game is that the driving kinda sucked. And the story ones do count for your nonsense. But they don't count a lot. Ones where you absolutely have to do will count. Ones that you kind of get ones that you actually absolutely have to do will count. Ones that you have to do because you kind of still have trouble and it end up being more optional do count. So it's kind of a catch-22 whether or not they'll count or not, and it's up to you to kind of figure out when they will or will not count. But I don't really have a lot of tips for this game. Most of it kind of boils down to explore everything, 100% your game, go on multiplayer for a little bit. Probably at this point you're gonna need a couple of friends to fill out your servers. Try not to kill too many citizens on the way there, and just sit back and enjoy the hacking adventure. All in all, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill Ubisoft Platinum at that time, which sees you going through and kind of just doing everything the game offers, with some miscellaneous trophies here and there, but nothing too difficult as far as I can remember. But that being three years ago, I did go through and check, and like I said, nothing too difficult if you're a seasoned trophy hunter at the point of you trying to start this game. But that is all I have to really talk about. I don't really have a lot. It was more that this game was there for me when I needed it, even though it wasn't the best game to kind of be there for me when I needed it. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to switch over to the Platinum Trophy, which, spoiler alert, is a little uninspired, which it is frustrating to see. But nonetheless, I'm going to show you that Platinum Trophy and we will move on. Hold on. Alrighty, and this is going to be your 100% clear Platinum Trophy for Watch Dogs. What this trophy is pretty much just going on with the whole hacking scheme of how all the wires kind of connect, getting you this trophy. Bing, bang, boom, there you go. I wish they did more with it, but with how the game is, a pretty straightforward adventure, can't complain too much. I am going to give this my rating of, be proud of it. It's not something that you should go brag about on the Skyrims, but with it only having a 1% earning rate, it is something you kind of be like, hey, I got the Watch Dogs Platinum. And at this point in trophy hunting, it's not something that a lot of people are going to be expecting for you to have, especially now if you're going to go back at this point in the game and get it. But that's all I got for this one. If you liked it, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If there's a game you want me to talk about or want me to go Platinum Hunt, let me know that in the comment section down below as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.